just as Hispanics were allegedly targeted in a mass shooting in El Paso last week at a Walmart, the federal government admits poor timing to rounding up what they call illegal immigrants soon after. Now, last week, more than 600 people were arrested by ICE for being in the country illegally. This is while they were at their jobs at various chicken plants in Mississippi. The feds say the raid was planned for nearly a year, but they do say it looked bad. The collateral damage: hundreds of children left behind, some stuck at school because their parents were being detained. Families busted up once again by the U.S. government. Is it right, or is just the rule of law? Here to talk about it is immigration attorney Gordon Kwon and conservative and Raging Elephant radio host Apostle Claver Kamal Imani. Glad to have you here. When we take a look at the situation, whether these people were wrong or right, you left children abandoned without their parents. They didn't take into consideration that these children would be at school and they would be busting up families, Gordon.
I know, and it was poorly planned, and I think the government has acknowledged that now. As you see, about 300 people have been released because of these children at home. You know, this is a massive raid that takes a lot of resources. Not only did they bring in 600 officers also, they had to have a facility to hold these people. And the nearest immigration courts are really in Louisiana, New Orleans, or Memphis. So they didn't even have the facilities to process these people for court hearings.
What do you think this was about, really?
I think there's a big show. You know, I think
close to the election?
Well, you know, Trump had said, we're going to round up millions of people. And what did they do? They round up 38 people. So I think, this is showing, hey, we're serious. We're actually going to do something.
First time a bust. Let's do it big this time.
Yes.
All right. Claver, let's hear from you.
I want raids. I want more raids. I want ICE, HSI, CBP, all of them getting rich working overtime. Here's the real numbers, Isaiah. I want the factor audience to hear the uncensored numbers. Here's the spreadsheet when it comes to the border invasion that no one is talking about. So far in FY 2019, just for Texas, I'm not talking New Mexico, Arizona, or California, we've had approximately 1.1 million illegal border crossings just into Texas with 2 months left. And people are upset about a few dozen people getting rounded up at a chicken shack.
Yes. Yeah, a few hundred people with hundreds of children.
600 or so. Think about the damage that's being done to our economy, our culture. It is an invasion. What's the purpose of invasion? Conquest, to take over your economy, your culture, and your government. That's exactly what's going on, and people are upset for the wrong reason. They need to be upset at the fact that it is a border invasion that's going on. 1.1 million people just in Texas with 2 months left. I think our indignation is pointed in the wrong direction.
Is it an invasion?
Well, I think that their indignation should be pointed at Congress and the government for not beginning to address our immigration issue in a more systematic manner. As you know, unemployment right now is at 3.2% in Houston. People are dying to find workers. You saw what the outcome was. In Mississippi, they were complaining that they're now having to shut down some of these businesses, hurting the economy. On contrary to what Cleaver has said, this is hurting our economy by not having a systematic way for people to come legally and perform these jobs that we need.
All right.
The community that is hurt the most by the illegal immigration problem, the invasion problem, I do call it an invasion. Let's remember on D-Day, there was only 156,000 total Allied troops that's landed on Normandy. We've had 1.1 million just in FY 2019 here in Texas. That's an invasion, okay? So the community that's hurt the most by this is the African-American community, in which the leftists are always complaining that their unemployment numbers do not match that of the rest of the United States of America. Well, perhaps it's because those jobs that could be occupied by African-Americans, entry-level positions, are being taken by the illegal invaders. That's why.
And what happened was that they actually had job fairs asking people to come in and apply for these jobs. People came in, a few of them. After a while, they said, no, we don't want to do this work. Are you kidding me? Forget it.
Why are we always insulting the American or the Texan, saying that the illegal invader is taking jobs that Americans won't do? That's an insult to Americans and Texans and our work ethic that made this state, that made this nation great. They would do the work. I've done the work. I've swept floors. I've cleaned toilets. I've washed dishes.
Let's give Gordon the last 30 seconds here.
You know, our economy, for it to grow, we need to have workers coming in. Even with this 1.1 million or whatever Cleaver is saying, we need those workers for the economy to prosper. I know I have so many clients who are like, Mr. Kwan, where can we find workers? We have people on temporary protected status, DACA, but they're only here temporarily.
I agree with
so
Gordon.
We need a system to bring people in.
We just needed to do it legally.
It.
It needs to be fixed. This chaos on the border has to stop. President Trump is he's commander-in-chief, and he should be able to do this. But I agree with Gordon.
Great points you both make. We appreciate you coming on. This conversation could go on and on.